A year of records is well underway. Record drought, record heat, record camping and RV travel, and the busiest year on record by far for the National Park Service. Lordstown and Camping World's electric motorhome is on hold, and the Canadian border will remain closed for another month. It's time for the latest in RV and camping news. I'm Jason Epperson, and welcome to the RV Miles News Roundup, where we provide you with all the latest news and information about RVs, camping, and road trip travel. A massive heat wave is piling on top of the record-breaking drought that's affecting much of the nation. As I'm recording this right now, it's 117 degrees in Las Vegas, 4 degrees short of the all-time record. As America settles into what's probably the biggest camping season ever, the heat wave is going to cause lots of problems with air conditioners, compounded by the fact that there aren't very many replacement air conditioners to be had on the market at the moment. Each year around this time, mobile RV technicians are swamped fixing air conditioners. And if you want to make sure you can still beat the heat, do some preventative maintenance on yours. Get on the roof, take the hood off, and clean everything in sight. Make sure to clean your filters inside, and don't expect your air conditioner to do too much. If the compressor isn't cycling on and off now and then, the unit can freeze up. Power outages may be likely as well during these high temps as air conditioner usage skyrockets, while the drought is causing large reductions in hydroelectric power availability out west. The rise in outdoor recreation combined with the drought has officials all over the country concerned about wildfires, the worst of which are usually human-caused. Natural fires are usually sparked by lightning, which means they're usually preceded or followed by rain. But when a fire starts due to a lingering campfire, for instance, it can spread rapidly and go on for weeks before a drop of rain is felt. Stuck trailer brakes and bad wheel bearings have also been known to cause fires. This past Tuesday, an RV caught on fire near Denver on I-70. The fire spread to nearby brush, sparking a grass fire. Make sure to have your wheel bearings and brakes serviced annually or every 10,000 miles, and put campfires entirely out. This episode is sponsored by the Togo RV app. If you're looking for route navigation on your phone that takes into account the length and height of your RV, look no further than the Togo RV app, which also includes checklists, maintenance reminders, and recall alerts for your specific RV and a lot more. The app is free, but a $39 per year Togo RV Plus membership gives you full access to the navigation features, and you get our Village, overnight RV parking, and Road Trippers Plus memberships included, along with a whole host of discounts on RV products like tires and lithium batteries. You can get $10 off with the code RVMiles10X. The Canada-US border will remain closed for another month, it was announced Friday. American and Canadian travelers alike were hoping for at least some sort of option for vaccinated travelers to pass, but to no avail. The border will remain closed to non-essential travel until at least July 21st. Restrictions were first imposed in mid-March of 2020 and have been renewed each month since. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has previously suggested that Canada will not consider easing restrictions for travelers until at least 75% of residents in both countries have been vaccinated. It's only this past week that Ontario campgrounds were even allowed to open as part of the province's reopening plan. A Great Smoky Mountains National Park bear has been euthanized after a 16-year-old sustained multiple injuries during an attack while she was sleeping in a hammock. Park officials closed Backcountry Campsite 29 in the Cosby section of the park after a bear attack on June 18th. The campsite will remain closed until further notice. A 16-year-old girl from Middle Tennessee sustained multiple injuries from the bear, including lacerations to the head. 2 bears were spotted in the area following the attack, one of which entered the campsite while rangers were present and disregarded attempts to scare it from the site. Rangers shot and killed the bear after the family identified it as the one responsible for the attack. Wildlife biologists were able to confirm human blood on the euthanized bear through forensic testing. A park release said all backpacks and food were properly stored. This is only the 5th reported bear attack in the park's history. RV dealership chain Camping World and electric vehicle manufacturer Lordstown Motors had announced a partnership in December that was supposed to bring the first electric motorhome to the U.S. market, a Class B camper van that was supposed to have over 300 miles of range. A prototype has been built, but the vehicle has been put on hold as Lordstown struggles to save itself amid stiff competition to get its electric truck, the Endurance, to the market. And with the company's CEO and CFO resigning just after an investigation into misleading claims about pre-orders for the Endurance, Lordstown will focus now solely on the Endurance's production. The nation's national parks will, without question, experience record attendance this year, and government officials are paying close attention. Senators on both sides of the aisle cautioned during a hearing on Wednesday that this summer's tourism wave could have detrimental effects on our nation's treasures. Some visitors to parks are experiencing 4-hour lines at entrance gates and trailhead parking that's full before dawn. To help with overcrowding, the National Park Service plans to launch a public education campaign to encourage visitors to make plans and reservations in advance, and is considering timed entry and limiting numbers of vehicles. Both of those methods are in place at a few parks already this year. The Park Service is also working on real-time digital communications like Twitter to let visitors know when parking lots are full, for example. Filmmaker Ken Burns, who produced the 2009 documentary series celebrating national parks, testified at the hearing that the long lines to get into park entrances are a good problem, comparing it to long lines to vote in his small New Hampshire town, saying, "At the heart of the national park idea is the notion that every American is part owner of some of the best seafront property in the nation. They own magnificent waterfalls and stunning views of majestic mountains and gorgeous canyons. They have a stake in making sure that these places are preserved for their children and their children's children forever." Senators expressed a desire for more hearings, so expect more discussions about the expansion of reserved entry into national parks. Many experts say that this year's visitation is not an anomaly and not pandemic-driven. It's a continuation of a rise in national park visitation that's been growing for several years. The pandemic may have only moved it up slightly. I hope you enjoyed this week's RV and camping news. We'll continue to keep you up to date on all the latest stories and developments every Saturday, so make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you think a friend would like to know about this week's stories, please share this episode on social media. If there's anything specific you want us to cover, let me know. You can send your suggestions or requests for topics by emailing editor@rvmiles.com. Comment below with any thoughts you have on this week's items. Oregon raised the rates on state park fees. Also, I hope it doesn't affect the tourism for retirees on fixed income. Folks spend money at more places than state parks. Just saying, that's the problem. Is it all those states in the Pacific Northwest are sort of battling and raising the prices on each other. When Oregon says, well, Idaho residents have to pay double, Idaho's now saying, well, we want Oregon residents to pay double. Poor RV quality is probably going to decline even more with these backlog numbers. First-time RVers are going to be in shock on what they get for all that money. You know what? Our unit is being delayed by another week because the plant is shut down for another week because they can't build them. I'm telling you, they're not building them at this massive rapid pace because they can't. So the units are being built as normal. There's no massive expansion in production that is causing them to be sort of whipped out in no time. They cannot build them like they would like to. Another great episode. Unfortunately, I'm in Northern California and we had to evacuate our house twice last year to forest fires. Our RV is always full of water and propane and ready to go. Well, that's an important consideration, that RVs aren't just a thing that can cause forest fires. They're a way to escape natural disasters as well. Hey, before we go, I want to let you know about a meetup that we're having this November in Camp Verde, Arizona. Space is limited. The event takes place November 3rd through the 7th, and all the details will be released soon via our mailing list. So click the card here if you want to join it. We'll see you next time.